Welcome back to the channel, folks. I'm your host, FoG. Thank you for joining another episode here on Fat Old Gamers. Today, we're going to look a little bit deeper into the Atgames Legends Ultimate Pinball. Before, when I had showed you this, I was trying to do something fancy. I was supposed to have like a couple different angles, things like that. That didn't work out because I broke the drive that had the other files on from the main camera up here. What I'm trying to do today is show you kind of a better view of the actual table, kind of see what it looks like when you're playing it. There is a way that I could grab some direct feed from Steam when I'm playing some of those, but I thought, you know what, let's try and capture it with a couple different cameras. So we've got one camera here, we've got an iPhone recording down that I can see on my watch. We're going to take a look. I've loaded in the, I believe it's 105 or 109 Zaccaria tables, or Zaccaria tables. Those are in here. They're all under the tables here. Like we figured, they're running off of a USB drive that is mounted with that Flash X, which is their solution. That's my cat going nuts. So we've got 22 plus, you know, the 100 plus. So we're up about 130 games on here. And then we'll take a look at some of the Steam ones. So this is going to be a little bit longer. I'm not going to try to drag it out on each game, but at least give you kind of a little bit more, you know, idea of what the differences are. So we're going to take a look first here with one of the new tables, the retro version of Earth, Wind, Fire, and this is Earth, Wind, Fire Retro. Whoops. I hit that back button every once in a while instead of the start button because it flip-flops when you're doing things. There we go. So we'll take a look at it now, make sure we're getting the footage. Yep.
Retro.
And they, you know, these look a little bit better. These have reflections in them. They have more 3D look to the ball itself, the pinball. And then you can change the time of day. If you just click the front nudge before you start a game, you can have it night, morning, afternoon. So it adds more shadows or less shadows. You may see a reflection of the phone here. I apologize for that. That's something I'm testing out. We'll see if we can't get rid of it. We're playing the morning right now. So it does use the plunger. We'll go ahead and start it. And you can see it's kind of, the plunger has it has pull. You can actually do skill shots in certain games. Easier than pressing a button. But we'll go ahead and start here. The sound is great. I'm hoping to only catch the sound with my microphone that's on my lapel instead of the camera phone. So I'm not going to try to capture any audio on there, just hopefully the video. So the retro games, I mean, obviously they are more retro, but the assets they're using here are really nice. You can actually see, you know, what this says with your eye on the 1080p screen. You can see that it has reflections and the ball casts a shadow on the playfield, as well as the ball looks like it's 3D. Like I said, as it's moving around on the table, it looks like it's rolling. So they put a little bit more effort into these than the Gottlieb tables. But, you know, you're paying, what is it, about $200, I think, if you buy the complete set. I bought it during the National Owners Day sale, so that was a little bit better. That actually made it to where I think it was only $100 for all the tables. So they were about $1 a table, which is not bad. But a lot of their tables are, like, there's a retro, there's a regular, and then there's a future version, or like 2017, 2016 version of the game. So let's jump out. We'll take a look at the middle ground here for this table. So we'll quit. And again, like, start was the way to get in, but back is the way to get out. I mean, I guess in some ways it makes sense. So this is the version that is the middle of the road, kind of like I said, the one that is not the future version, but it's not the retro version either. Because the future version is actually named like a year, like Earth, Wind, Fire 2016 or 2017. So they may have done a couple of these. Again, we'll play kind of morning or day. There we go. So definitely a different look to it. A little bit more older looking than the retro table, but again, it depends on the assets, because again, looking at the table itself, it's harder to make out this text on here than the retro one, which was probably redone with better assets. Earth, Wind, Fire actually is a little bit more modern feeling pinball game. Some of I want to say Zaccaria. It could be Zaccaria. I know I've heard it say a couple different ways, and I think it's Zaccaria, but I keep saying Zaccaria just by default. Zaccaria tables actually all feel a little bit dated in comparison to the Williams tables, the Stern tables, some of those. It feels like they're definitely from the late 70s, early 80s versus, when Theater of Magic was made by Williams in 1995. So, let's see. We'll take just a few more hits. Actually, we'll call it good here. And then you can input your username for high scores. All of the tables that are sold by Atgames directly, they all support high scores, and there's a player high score. Well, at least the ones that I've seen, they all have a little trophy in them. They all support high scores, and those are the ones coming from either on the machine or sold by Atgames. So I'll show you when we get out of here. So then it tells you, hey, you've updated a global score. So you see all the ones with the little trophies. Those all have high scores. And then here's what Earth, Wind, Fire 2017 looks like. Again, nothing of the controls change or anything like that, but just it's more updated assets, looks, things like that. Like I said, we won't dwell on too many tables. I just wanted to give a better idea because I know the last camera angle just didn't look as good as it could have, especially when the other camera footage got destroyed. So here, this is the 2017 table. The DMD is running inside the back glass. You can't see it because I don't have a camera facing that way, and realistically, nothing ultimately, I mean, yes, the DMD does do something, but ultimately the action mostly happens on the playfield anyhow. So maybe one of these days we'll get a camera that's facing that way too, and just have 16 videos to edit through. This is a little bit more, it looks a little bit more new, a little bit more current, definitely. Again, still, the assets are decent quality on this one, but a little bit low. Could be the screen itself. It could be made, that they would be better on a 4K screen. But again, I've been playing this thing really non-stop for 7 to 8 days, and there's been no complaints. Yes, I mean, I could sit there and say that if you spent $2,000 to $3,000 on a cabinet, you could have a 4K LCD and maybe even possibly a cheaper OLED, and you could have a more, higher end computer or PC running this with like an Xbox Connect and have a totally high-end experience. I mean, you might even be close to $4,000 by the time you would be done if you bought a machine strong enough. But in the end, I don't think I would be any more happier than right now. And especially if you've never seen that, this is well beyond what your expectations will be. I can tell you that. It's just really that fun. If you like pinball, and you were, let's say this, if you were a casual pinball player, but maybe you really found a game that you liked and, you'd love to play it again, this is for you. If you're a hardcore pinball enthusiast, you're going to have tables that are actually real tables. And at that point, you're going to be, a little bit more happy if you'd spend like thousands of dollars on a virtual table to get a similar experience, to really have the highest end experience that you can. But for me personally, I cannot complain at all about this. I've had tons of fun with it. I've probably plugged at least, just on this as it stands, 20 hours this week in Pinball FX3 on Steam. Just playing Theater of Magic, really. Actually, I was doing some competition stuff in their, not tournament, but their, I forget what it is, their match play. Played a lot of that, so Paranormal and, what was the other one that was on there? Paranormal and Safecracker, I think it was, and I think they had another one, or another two, but played those a lot this weekend. Played a lot of Theater of Magic, like I said. I played a lot of Class of the 1812 on here, and then one of the ones I do like from Zaccaria, I can't remember right now. I'll know it when we see it. I don't mind Earth, Wind, Fire. This one's pretty good too. More of the 2017 titles, the future titles, or whatever you would want to call it, current day titles that they have on here. So let's jump out of this one. This kind of gives you an idea again what the quality is as you go up. I mean, definitely their tables are a little bit more high end than the tables that came on it from Gottlieb. The other one that I've been spending a lot of time on here, quickly. There's a lot of tables. I mean, it does get to be one of those things where you're page after page after page, which is, a horrible problem only if you don't like to have lots of games to play. And I didn't mind Time Machine. I was playing that a good bit. Yeah, I think it was mainly Time Machine is the other one I've sunk my time, so to speak, into. Let's see here. We'll give it a try. Oh, God, I always hit that. I always do that. Now we're into the arcade ones. There we go. So, Time Machine 2019. This is about the most current title that you can get. I mean, 2019, I don't know how they went through and named them. I'm guessing that they have some legitimate claim to they were produced in 2019, the actual virtual table. Because I don't know if they actually have made tables. They do have Steam, though. Zaccaria. They have, they're available on Steam. They actually have VR enabled on there as well, so that kind of looks really nice. I picked that up. They do a lot of sales. I mean, on Steam, you're going to be able to buy all of these tables extremely cheap. At some points I've seen it less than $100 for all their tables, like $80, $70, things like that. There's a ball rolling in the middle, like a magnet's holding it. It's kind of interesting because if you shake the table, the ball even shakes. It's kind of cool. And that's what I mean. Like all those little extra efforts that they put in really make it. I'm going to try to hit it. Really make it a quality experience for sure. But tons of different ideas that you can see in the different table designs. I don't know if we're going to be able to hit it or not. Oh, the Hot Wheels table on here as well. Yeah, it just fell. The Hot Wheels table is a good one as well from Zaccaria. Oops, this way. If you play too much of the Pinball FX, you get used to like not using the plunger because the Steam games on Pinball FX, they can't use the plunger. I wish that they would get, either they're going to have like an API that could be implemented or make it like just a part of the control scheme that works through DirectX input, that would give you access to it like a analog control or something like that. But I'm not even sure if that works with Steam. Okay, there's multi-ball. And I lost it. But when you hit that little ball, you get multi-ball going, and then you can play. But it definitely, only lasts, and you've really got to knock it around to be able to get it to loosen up off that magnet. Oh, almost. Oh, I missed it. I missed it. I think half the fun is trying to hit that little ball rolling around. Now, I did do a couple things. I've bought... Here, we'll get out of this table and we'll move on to the Steam stuff. Let's take a look at some of that. I ended up buying new legs for this already. I went out and I'm going to see if they fit. I don't know if it's possible. I didn't really see a lot of information on it. But I think they were Stern table legs that I bought that are actually 31.5 inches. The ones that come with this are 28.5. That's kind of a normal Williams table. I believe other tables use that length. I can't think off the top of my head, but I think it's the Stern ones. They actually are 31.5. So that'll give this table like another, 2 or 3 inches up here, and then you can extend it. I think that gives it maybe another inch or so. That might help. I do feel like after playing it for 20 hours this week or something like that, I definitely feel like I'm bent over a little bit more than I'd like to be. Not that it's horrible. I can play it for hours like that, but I think that having it a little bit higher might help. We'll see. I don't even know if they'll fit correctly. I just took a chance and I'm like, well, I didn't really see anybody do it, so I'll just order it and we'll see what happens. Let's see here. Let's go back. Now we're going to go into Steam, which it should be running on my PC. Again, this is all, I have it now wired in through Ethernet. So there's an Ethernet cable that runs to a splitter or a router, and then runs to another router. They're all unmanaged, and then it goes to the Steam PC over there. Because we have, a couple, the Legends Ultimate Arcade also runs on this one, and then we have all of our other PCs in the house that actually are hardwired together so we can play Steam. If anybody wants to. My son, he plays it a little bit, my wife doesn't. Okay, so let's jump into the Steam experience. Now, Steam is running, see, this is what happens. Give me 1 second. I have to go over and mess with it. I don't have a mouse and keyboard hooked up to this yet, so it doesn't work. If you did, you could manage it and you could manipulate it, or if you had the trackball, you could manipulate the mouse and shut things down. But right now, my backup drive it's jumped up over top of Steam. So give me 1 sec. I will fix that, and then we'll be right back and then load in again, and it should work fine. Okay, so Steam should be running fine now. We've got it running on big picture mode. So when I go in, it's going to look a little bit different than Steam does normally, because this is more built for when you're sitting on a couch with a mouse and a keyboard or a controller. And it allows Steam it might be a little bit ugly, but it allows it to fit onto this screen in terms of now, instead of 1920 wide by 1080 high, it's 1080 wide by 1920 high. So it does allow for that, and it's a good way to handle the navigation. On here, your back button is your select or your A, and then B is your forward nudge. And then you just use your control pad or your D-pad here to navigate in. And, normally I have this running and it never stops, and I can just walk over to this and start it up and it goes right in. So it's been pretty good. There's a couple settings here. You might be able to see it. If I hit the menu button at the top there, you see quality for your network, you see control mode, you see joystick enable, latency, you can see how much latency you have. I normally try to keep the quality at medium, and that seems to be the best, and it defaults to like auto every time. And that's fine. I mean, normally auto does a pretty good job. So, like I said, A is your back button here. And that will also be the plunger. Again, the actual plunger does not work, so it's a button now. And in here, you can pretty much navigate. You do have to ask Pinball FX3, the company. You have to reach out to them and ask them to provide you a cabinet code. And they will for free. You just take a picture of what you use, and they'll send it to you, which is nice. And that enables this little item up here at the top, which is cabinet mode, and then it allows it to be in that 1080 wide by 1920 resolution. And it would also, if we had the unit, if the unit could see the back glass, you could then use the back glass actually the way it should be used, with the DMD inside it and all of that stuff. Right now, that doesn't work because your PC, through the Atgames Legends Link app, only sees one screen, and it's the playfield screen, and that's it. So the PC only thinks that one screen's connected. So we'll go into single player. And, I pretty much have been a fan of this, so I went through and bought a majority of these titles when they're on sale. Usually you can get them for around $5 a piece for a selection of games. So they're in here, and what we'll do is take a look at my favorite right now. Has been for a long time, Theater of Magic. Okay, so in this, you have two different modes with Pinball FX3 Tables. You have a mode where it's the traditional layout, which the layout really doesn't change of the playfield, but it's traditional. It kind of looks like the actual table did. Then if you press the forward nudge button or the B button, you get like these little characters and things that move around the screen, and the screen will actually like zoom in when something happens. So if you don't like that, you just turn that off and it'll never do any of that, and you're just playing normally. You can see your DMD is up on the top left. So that's kind of nice. Like while we're doing this, we can actually see the DMD. Oh, that was horrible. I'm talking too much. Okay. Let's go. But again, no latency really. I mean, it is all hardwired in. So it's not running off of Wi-Fi. If it was running off of Wi-Fi, it may not do a good job. I've had varying degrees. 2.4 gigahertz didn't cause any problem, but it would lag and it would be choppy and the audio would break up here and there just a little bit. 5 gigahertz would not do any of that, but it would disconnect like every couple minutes. I have no idea why. It also kept doing something weird where the username it would say that the username was in use on another device, which it is on my Legends Ultimate Arcade, but it would log this one out and then log it back in instantly, and that would break the connection. So there was some weird stuff happening on 5 gigahertz. So to alleviate all of that, and what I had always planned originally anyhow, was to just run Ethernet cable right to it and just, have it hardline right to the device. And it works flawlessly at that point. Now there is going to be an option. If you check out Atgames' YouTube channel, they showcased it this week, and it's essentially they've produced another board for the back glass that allows you to plug in a second HDMI device, which is you can have a PC hooked directly to this table. You would have access to this playfield and the back glass, be able to use those screens separately. And if you're running something directly like PCFX or Pinball FX3 or the Stern tables or whatever, I forget what it's called, Pinball Arcade, you can have access to it, and then you can use the DMD and make it look just like it would if it was on the table itself. It's a little expensive, thinking about, well, you have to have a separate PC if you're not going to have your gaming PC connected to this right next to it. You're going to have to spend the money on the board, and at that point you're starting to get into a cost of like, well, go build your own. It's still going to be cheaper than building your own, more than likely, but it's definitely going to be a cost, right? That I think just having the Legends Link app and running Steam, I don't worry about the back glass. I mean, yes, it's a nice feature, but it's definitely not the main thing that I'm worried about. And the playfield can show the DMD, so unless you're really trying to go for that purist, and not even that it's a purist view, but unless you're really trying to be exact and have the best quality experience, you know, and pay the more money, having Steam with Pinball FX3 and having that Legends Link app, I mean, you can see it's pretty phenomenal. I mean, it's super easy to hook up. I mean, it takes 5 minutes once you have it connected to the network. So let's get out of here, and we'll check out some other tables. But yeah, I mean, being able to bounce in and out, have, you know, probably at this point, say there's 130 built into the table or roughly thereabout. There's probably another 90 here or so. So, you know, you're talking about 210, right? So 130 plus 90, so like 220. So 220 tables that, you know, are just ready to go, and that's really nice. I mean, it's such a good experience, so simple to get up and running. Single player and hot seat. And you know, the real cool thing is the Pinball FX3 tables, they actually do like ongoing competitions and, you know, all of that throughout the week, which super interesting to be involved in. I never thought I'd be that into that, but I was having a lot of fun with it over the weekend. Just kind of chasing for the top. Now there's some guys that are people, folks that really go all out on it, and their scores are like, you know, 4 times what mine is. And I was in like 5th place out of 900 people last night. So the difference from like top 5 to top 2, 1 is hours and hours. You know, another 40 hours. It's like a job essentially. Is what you'd be playing pinball to be in that top level, it seems. But it is fun, and it's, you know, it looks really good, especially I mean realistically, this is being streamed from another PC, and it looks better than either of the sets of tables on, you know, from Atgames, which is great. And you can see something changed in the network, so it just popped up a little indicator, but you don't see that all too often. It doesn't really break your immersion. It's just Steam recognized it, and it was like, hey, this is an Xbox controller for some reason or another. It didn't lose connection, it maybe recognized another one that just came online, like the PC over there, or the arcade machine might have sent a signal, and it was like, hey, there's something here, another Xbox controller. But I mean, out of that, barely any real issues, right, with it. Let's see. We'll jump out of here. This is one of, I believe it's Zen Pinball's own tables. This is something they made. Okay, so when that did happen, my controls now act a little weird. They're jumping. And I've noticed this once in a while, and I know I just said it barely ever happens, but I've noticed this once in a while where I can't like hit certain menu items. There's the cat. I can't hit certain menu items in the menu system. So what I do to just fix that is I log off and then log right back in. So I just jump out, and it never happens when you're playing. It's only in the menu system. So it's never like the controls stop functioning correctly. Whatever it was, see, everything just connected back up. Now I can go. It just makes it jump one too many. I don't know. I really can't explain what it's doing, but it's like it's putting in double the input each time. So that's one weird thing. Let's see. We'll look at, maybe one more table here. I think I still have a couple to buy. Like the Alien ones, I own. The bad thing is I own these on like the Switch, but I don't own them on the PC. Let's do Portal. So you don't get the credit for buying in multiple locations. So it's like, I got to buy them again. So I'm kind of waiting for them to go on sale. And the other thing about it, when you do get this, you probably want to grab a controller, have it hooked up the first time, and you can adjust the view, because there's a couple different types of views, and certain people might like, one that's a little more angled or a little bit more straight down. I have it on view 2 for every table. So it basically gives you the zoom in. You're zoomed in the farthest, but you're not zoomed in to the point where it'll actually move around on the table to see where the ball's going. You miss a little bit of like the instructions at the bottom, but that's okay because it's pinball and it's on Pinball FX3, and you can watch videos and read the FAQ on how to play it externally. So this is their portal table that they released. I guess this would have been like 10 years ago, maybe. Well, maybe not 10 years ago. This was whenever Portal 2 came out, I believe they released it. So that would have been, well, I guess it's getting close to 10 years, like 2013, 2012. Something like that. So they've had this on since Pinball FX2 or Zen Pinball FX or whatever it was. That was on like Xbox 360. That you can't get access to anymore through Steam or Xbox, but if you look around hard enough, you'll be able to find it. And it has like South Park in it, and you might be able to get like the Ninja Gaiden table, which is not in Pinball FX3. So South Park, Ninja Gaiden, and I think there's one or two more that were not ported over onto Pinball FX3. And it was basically because of licensing deals. And, unfortunately, the South Park table is pretty good. And you'll never probably have access to that again unless you go the route of, like, finding it on your own. But overall, fantastic experience. I can't say more about it, that how much I've enjoyed playing it, and having the experience in your house, even though it's virtual, having this many tables. You would never be able to do this with a regular one, obviously. And there's so many interesting things to see and play, and all the different designs that people made. And the one that's interesting on here is like Back to the Future, because it's like every time you play, it picks a random, I think it's random, Back to the Future scenario. So it's like Back to the Future 1, you get like the story of when they're standing around the mall and they just go into the 1950s. And then there's Back to the Future, the next scenario, the next time you play would be like Back to the Future 3 when they're in the Wild West. And it's picking and choosing these at random, so every time you go in and play, it's a different experience. So it's a really interesting component. And that's something you can buy on here. There's Jaws. And usually when you buy those, here, we'll just jump out. Call it good with Portal. I'm not really trying to show how bad I play or how well I play. It's just more along the lines of like just showing how it plays. But like here, you buy all 3 Alien tables together, and they're $9.99 for all 3. But then, like I said, I've seen majority of these all go on sale for like maybe $4.99 or something like that. All the Bethesda tables are in one pack. All the FoxNet table or Next tables are in one pack. The Valve and the Walking Dead, they're cheaper. They're like $2 a piece, $3 a piece, but they're in their own individual packs. And then you get into like the Star Wars, where there's like, these 3 might be in a pack, and then these 3 are in a pack, or you see how it highlights which ones. Those 4 are in a pack. Those 3 are in a pack. Those 2 are in a pack. So it kind of highlights what the packs are. So there's 4 Marvel, 3 Marvel. I forget like which ones came here. We'll say like Avengers 4, Civil War, and World War came together. And they're usually like $9 a piece, or $9 for the set. All the Universals come together for $9. The Jurassic Parks, they all came for $9. And then like the Williams tables are like 4, and then 4, and then 4, and then 4. And they're like, if you buy all 4 packs, you get them for like $31 instead of $39 or $40. So there's some deals. Otherwise, there's no, no real reason to rush out because they put them on sale like 1 or 2 packs a week, and you just kind of wait it out throughout the year, and you can usually get them half price essentially. And then the Zen tables, these are all their own tables. So, and then here's the ones that are multiplayer, or at least in the competition right now for this period, which is usually like 2 weeks or a week, I think. You can label your favorites. We'll go back out. Match up. This is where you can go in and you can see where you're at. I've been trying to play today to get my name on the board. I'm at like rank 7 and this is, rank 6. So we'll play 1 here to end the video. Paranormal's one that I enjoy. We'll see if we can get in there. I don't know. I haven't been doing too well today. So you can do skill shots. They're harder to do without the plunger. The button just doesn't really work well enough to kind of know how long to hold it or whatever. But the plunger would be awesome. You should be able to do so much with that, like in terms of like timing. But oh well. Yeah, I went through and I played this for basically all weekend to get up into the top, 5 or so. But, you go to bed and next thing you know, you're back down below the fold. See, it's just too hard to get it. That was too much. It was just too hard to do the skill shot through the system. So the way this goes is you play for 3 minutes. You can lose as many balls as you want. It just keeps going. And it's basically whoever has the highest score in the competition with whoever you picked. And then you get X points, and that point's put into the league, and then it basically comes out whether your positioning within that league. And I'm not doing well. There we go. And about the last 30 seconds, it'll start to double all your scoring. So that kind of gives you that little bump to be able to get caught up. It's kind of like the rubber band from Mario Kart. Come on. Okay. So the wolf, or the chupacabra, is now set and ready. So if I can make him dizzy, there we go. You get some big points for that. And if you can keep doing it, you can make a lot of points, but I can't keep doing it. Nessie, if you hit him in the face, you can get like 3 million points there. But it doesn't always let me hit him in the face, or her. Ugh. And then you get like little bonuses. Like I've got some multipliers that are kind of built into the table that you get for playing it over and over again. So you get like bonuses to cheat in a way. I don't think we'll do it this time. Oh. It's a waste of time to go up into the next section. We'll check it out here. Let's see if I can get us up in there. So this would be the DMD, right? Like it would move up. I don't know if it plays like that on the DMD because this is one of the Zen tables, so it's never been an actual pinball table, so it wouldn't be like that would happen in real life. But the virtual table, it would do that. So I lost here. You lose some points in the listing and then you go down. But it's a fun way to keep playing, and man, this thing has been, fantastic to keep playing on that. It really drives you to keep playing. So yeah, that's really the Steam link connected. Now that looks weird here because it's sideways and controls are all sideways. But if I go back in, it should start up correctly. Let me see if I can get back in there. Oh God, your brain doesn't work when it's not that way. So it should load in. Nope, it didn't. So what we'd have to do here, this happens every once in a while where Steam, this is a Steam issue, I think. Steam's like, well, and the cat was walking on the arcade machine, so I think it might have thought like, okay, this is connecting up, so it should operate, you know, in horizontal mode or whatever. So what you would do here is you just log out again. This is the problem. It's an issue where you got to log out and log right back in, and then Steam recognizes like, oh, the next machine is connected and it's going to be in picture, you know, in portrait mode, so to speak. So now it's back to normal. We'll launch it again, and there, it's back to cabinet mode. So pretty simple, but that's about it. My light's dying, and I hope this looked a little bit better. I hope it actually showcased a little bit more of the table and the quality of what I'm seeing and what really drives me to be very interested in this. So I hope everybody appreciates that for themselves, and if you're interested in it, go find out more. Again, I'll put another link to the Atgames page for this. You know, obviously Fat Old Gamers gets nothing. I paid for this out of my pocket. I just wanted to show it off because I've really enjoyed it. It's a little pricey, but I will say its value is there, and it's a really fun little thing to have in your house. And I can see playing this, you know, 10 to 20 hours a week, no problem, in the evenings and on the weekends. So I will get my money back out of it in terms of time. So that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. Give us a like if you did. Leave a comment, you know, what your favorite table was or is, or if you're interested in one of these. Always love to talk about stuff like that, and we really appreciate everybody for hanging out and checking this out. And if you are a Steam person, if you do like Steam, below is a link that you can join our Steam group, and we basically hand out Steam keys and all sorts of stuff that we get for reviews, and also, you know, just in general have tons of Steam keys to give away. Just like to have the community there talking about them, and if you want to be a part of it, please join up. We enjoy it. We actually shut down my old one, which was Fans of Games, and we've converted all the videos and reviews and everything over. So it's just getting kicked off, and you can come in and you can start talking about PC games if you like those, or if you like pinball. It's a perfect place, or any place, for talking about games. There's retro games on Steam, you know, obviously not for physical consoles, but some of those old retro games are on there, and we talk about all of it. So folks, if you haven't already, give us a subscribe if you'd be so kind, and we will talk to you in the next video. Thanks again, folks. Bye-bye.